Hey everybody, what's going on? Chris Stewart here with this week's Inter-Eruption, where we interrupt the way we normally think so we can erupt into the lives we want and we truly desire. Well, you know it's the holiday season, as I'm sure you can tell by my kick-ass new tie. Woo! Yeah, that's right. I know I look in the mirror some days and I find myself almost unrecognizable from what I used to be in my past. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, right? Because besides all the funny light-up ties and the holiday spirits, it wasn't always that way for me. And today we're going to talk about being the black sheep of the family. Okay, because a lot of the times, if you're like me, around the holiday times, you got to go around and deal with families and friends and things like that, and you still feel kind of like the black sheep, right? Like you don't really fit in, or maybe there was times in the past where you acted inappropriately or did some things during the holidays that everybody is still dwelling on, or those kind of things. But we're going to erase all that today, right? Because we're going to talk about hope. Because I am your chief recovery and hope officer of the Recovery Ninjas. And the key thing that we want to look at here today is going to be what happens when we propel ourselves into a state of recovery, right? So we can go back in and be the people that we want to be for our families. And so many times we look at our past as so many mistakes and so many things that we can never make up for, and we dwell in that we ruin our future and the opportunities that we have. I'm going to get real raw with you guys and real vulnerable right now. I'm going to take you back a few years ago. I had just gotten married in October, and it was December, and so it was going to be my first Christmas married, and I was excited, and I decorated the house all crazy, and I was trying to be this like Clark Griswold in my new suburban community, and I was happy for it, man. I thought I was really going to be able to make it, but the problem is that, I was strung out on heroin, which was a big problem, right? And I remember one night, my wife was out of town, and I was sitting around drinking tequila and doing lines of cocaine. And, that's what I did. I was trying to wean myself off the dope, right? And, using one thing to substitute another. And, I remember looking out of my window and seeing these lights flashing. And what I heard was, "Get out of your house." And I thought to myself, oh, no. The cops are here. Man, like, who called? Like, did anybody look through the curtains? I'm freaking out, and so, I get into my, like, Army SWAT team, I hit the lights, and I crawl out on the floor, and I'm crawling across the floor, right, and I get over to, like, the window, and I peek outside like this to see what's going on. And what had happened was I lived in such a great neighborhood that a fire truck was pulling Santa's sleigh down the street. And these people weren't yelling, "Get out of their house." These were firefighters bringing toys and gifts to the kids in my neighborhood saying, "Please come out of your house. Santa is here." And I looked across the street at Santa and all these people and all my neighbors coming out and laughing and talking. And I'm laying there on the floor, right, just like strung out and sick and drunk and high. And I started like losing my mind, right, just like sobbing uncontrollably because I thought, how did I let myself get here? Why am I laying on the floor trying to detox? All my neighbors are out having a great time for Christmas, and I'm like 20 feet away and I can't even be part of it. Man, I'm so glad I don't live like that anymore. And if you're living like that, I want to know what we can do to help you. You fast forward a couple years, and it's taken me, a while. But I've continued to stay in recovery, and I've continued to do these things. I remember my first year sober, I was worried about that same scenario happening, so you know what I did? I went to the 99-cent store. I don't know wherever you're watching this, but we got these things in California called the 99-cent stores where everything is 99 cents. And I had like $10, so I bought like 8 rolls of this cookie dough, and I went home and I made cookies, Christmas cookies, and I put them in little Ziploc baggies, and I took them to homeless people at that time in my neighborhood, right? And I passed them out, and I just said, I went over to them and I said, listen, man, I don't really know what to say to you, except that I used to be homeless, because I had been kicked out of that house, and that wife divorced me, and I said, and I hope you're not giving up hope tonight. It was Christmas Eve, and I said, I know it's not much, but I made these cookies, and I want you to have them, because I care, man. I want you to know somebody cares about you. And the people were like, man, thanks, that's really, really nice of you. And then, of course, some of them were like, hey, man, these cookies got weed in them. And I'm like, no, those cookies don't have weed in them. Yeah, sometimes you try to help people and they just don't want to be helped, okay? Let's get that straight. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, tonight, I'm very blessed that, I have an amazing support group, an amazing group of friends around me that some are in recovery and some aren't in recovery. And I was blessed to be able to go to a Christmas party tonight. And, and I was surrounded by very wealthy people. And, and at first I thought, man, this is making me uncomfortable, right? And so I was talking to, like, the valet guy, and then I'm talking to, like, the guys in the kitchen, right? Because I can relate to them. I'm like, hey, I used to be like you, right? I used to be a valet, and I used to work in the kitchen and make, this kind of stuff. But I've never been a doctor. I've never been a lawyer. I've never owned a $5 million home, and these things. But here's what I'm here to tell you, right? To wrap this all up. You know what? I talked to almost every single person in that room. And you know why? Because I'm me. I'm honest. I got nothing to hide. And I have a story of hope, a story of recovery. And, people are surprised to find out that I'm a recovering heroin addict. When I introduce myself, they're like, what do you do? And I tell them what I do. And they're like, well, how'd you get involved in that? I said, I'll tell you how I got involved in that. I used to be one. Now I'm not. And I try to help people that aren't. And every single person that I talk to had the exact same response. That is awesome. Congratulations, man. That takes a lot. We're beating the stigma of addiction, man. That's what we're doing here at the Recovery Ninjas. And I want to tell you guys, there is a message of hope. You are no longer the black sheep. And if you feel like you are, let me remind you, here at the Recovery Ninjas, man, everybody in our world has worth, everybody has value, everybody has purpose, and everybody is loved. And if you're not feeling like that, give us a call, because we want to help you get to feel like that. And when you're going home to wherever you go for Christmas, man, don't take along the black sheep persona, because you're not that person anymore. And the other thing I'll tell you about black sheep, you know what they got? Heart. They got hearts of courage. You know why? Because they've been through it, man. Not everybody in your family has been through what you've been through. Not everybody in your community has been through what you've been through. That makes you something special. Because you know what? Now, anytime they go through something, you know who they're going to call? They're going to call you. Because like, man, you remember that time that you went through that? Well, I'm going through something kind of similar. Can you help me? And you'll be like, yes, I can. That's the Christmas miracle, my friends. Just one person helping another. That's why we're all here, and that's what we're all here to do. All right? So, hey, I hope you guys are fired up. I hope no matter what situation you're in, you find something to be grateful for this holiday season. And I hope you really turn around and help other people, man. Get out there and pass out some cookies or pass out whatever it is you like to pass out, that helps other people. Even just saying hello, shaking somebody's hand, giving somebody a hug makes a big difference in everybody's world. And we're here to make a big difference in the world, period. So let's all join together, right? Spartan Warriors, we're locking up arms. We're taking it one step at a time, one day at a time. We're changing the world for a better place. Join us in this journey, my friends. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll talk to you next week. Rock on. God bless.